Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning into PTV World. We over here at PTV World hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with my very amazing co-host, very talented Ms. Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Ehsan Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you doing today?
I am absolutely great. Thank you so much for asking. Well, I want to say that, of course, I've had my coffee, so I have complete faith my day is going to be great. How has your morning been so far?
Well, I think my morning is a little tiring, and it's just because of the fact that that I was away from work, and I was traveling, and I was traveling quite a lot. And imagine that I was traveling so far away that it actually took me 2 days continuous drive to actually reach to where my destination was or where I was destined to be as well. And then while I was there, I was just thinking that, hey, you know what, so it'll take me another 2 days to kind of drive back as well.
Well, before you actually give it all away, I forgot to mention one thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I think my morning was made. So when I reached office, I was presented with hand-picked cherries, and they were, oh my God, so yummy. So, of course, a great start. So, Shahzad, do you want to let us know where we got the cherries from?
Yes, exactly. I'm going to let you know as well. But, that's kind of somewhere after the break as well. So we're going to discuss about that. But for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, since it's summers over here, so everybody kind of wants to travel to a place which is actually a little bit more thandi. I think that's the term which I would want to use as well. Because as soon as I got back, I was like, okay, you know what, this is the reality of your life, Shahzad, and you really need to be in summers over here in Islamabad as well, and it's just getting hotter as well. But for all of those last 10 days spent, I think that, there was this realization of how beautiful our Creator Allah is, Alhamdulillah, while you're sighting, and you come across such amazing views as well, and then you're like stunned and you sit back and you relax for a while and you're like, oh my God, man, this was something which I should have witnessed at least 20 years ago as well. Imagine that me being 34 years old, alhamdulillah, and finally, getting a chance to go to North, where me and Shiza, we both have been saying that, we so want to go. But fortunate of me, that I actually got a chance and I went over there. But let's see what Shiza has to say about that.
Well, I'm really, really happy, first of all, you did get a chance to go. And because I feel like, Shahzad, the type of work that we do, we barely get any days off.
Exactly.
So we managed that. I'm happy for you. But why are we talking about it, ladies and gentlemen? Because I do know, because of the pandemic as well, all the people that would usually go abroad for vacation don't even have that option for now. And for all the people who would actually, spend their vacation in Pakistan, we're sort of holding back too. But now that, alhamdulillah, 18 plus people are able to get vaccinated as well. So I think a lot of traveling is reopening. But the best part is the incumbent government took it upon themselves, I feel like, Shahzad, because I remember, working for PTV even before this government came in.
Yep.
And I do realize that a lot of people are actually working from their hearts to actually promote the tourism of Pakistan, or all the good and beautiful things about Pakistan. So while, yes, we always talk about North, we have spoken about Southern Pakistan for that matter as well. Different type of, tourism that Pakistan has to offer in terms of, well, of course, there's beauty, there's culture, there's religion, so many things.
There's adventure now as well.
There's adventure now as well, absolutely. So this time, what we are going to do is, because we know a lot of you might be planning to go to the North, we will, in this entire show, help you out on how to go about it, which roads to take, how much budget you should have, and also probably what are the photogenic areas, because it's all about Instagram now.
Exactly, but with nature, it's not even about photogenic areas.
Really?
I think that everywhere you're going to look at, the sky is so clean. There's no dust.
Yes.
The traffic's not too high as well. So there's not a lot of emissions too as well. The air you're breathing is fresh as well. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, what we're going to do is that we are actually going to take you to the journey, or take you on a journey where from Islamabad, okay, not from Lahore, because Islamabad was that point from where I actually went to Khunjrab Pass or China border as well. And so we're going to take you through as well, not just that. So we're going to have a fair comparison of why people want to go to Switzerland rather than when having so many amazing places over here in Pakistan. And so what we are doing is that we have a wonderful, amazing anchor person, journalist over here in the studios with us as well. We've requested her to be on the show as well. so that she can actually let us know whether it was better in Switzerland or is it better in northern areas of Pakistan.
And why are we doing that? Let me tell you. So this was just yesterday, Shazad.
Yep.
There was news. Our Premier Imran Khan Saab was in Naran Kakan area and he was promoting different projects for tourism as well. One of my favorite, by the way, was that he was introducing about 550,000 biodegradable bags for littering, because that is something we do not want to see over there. So anyway, he did mention that Switzerland and similar countries do actually create a lot of money just for their tourism.
Yep.
And the north of Pakistan, he said, is actually larger than Switzerland itself as a country. So just look at the potential over there. I think he's right in thinking that. So let's just sort of develop a discourse on that.
Exactly. The infrastructure is definitely there. But, speaking about Switzerland, obviously, the infrastructure is a lot better. I think we really need to agree to that as well, and we really need to accept that there are areas where we need to work. Imagine that that they actually have a lift system which is going to take you to the highest peak within Switzerland as well. So
scary.
I think it's about time that we actually ask our amazing
Yes,
anchor person / journalist, ladies and gentlemen, who took out time to be on the show as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky that we've actually been joined by Miss Hajar Sati. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much for having me on this show.
Thank you very much for
pleasure,
joining us.
Hajar.
Wonderful to have you. So first things first, before we start our journey, how was it for you when you went to Naran Kagan, and how was it for you when you went to Switzerland?
So actually I went to Naran Kagan way before, like back in 2003 and 4, right? So it's a long time ago. And I went to Switzerland back in 2017.
Okay.
So I mean, I can't compare both of them.
All right.
Obviously Naran Kagan is a very rugged and a raw beauty, and Switzerland has more resources, as you mentioned. It's a welfare state, right? And they have a more supporting infrastructure there. But I believe that we're also following that model, because what I found in the Switzerland was that a lot of local people, they were opening up their rooms for the guests to come in.
Okay.
So the guests could experience their culture, in that sense. It's not, you're interacting with the local people there, you're also interacting with the nature, with the beauty there. And Switzerland is very more expensive. It's the most expensive country in the Schengen. So a cup, souvenir cup costs there 40 euros in Switzerland. While in a lot of other European countries, it's like just 5, which is very expensive too. So
and that's a brilliant anecdote, actually, where you said that to sort of integrate the culture, people are opening up and welcoming other people.
I think the same thing is happening in northern areas too.
I was going to say.
Yeah, and we're going to take you through that journey as well. So I want to reach that point in terms of the visuals we have.
So let's
for our
begin with
audiences as
Islamabad towards.
Yeah. So first things first, ladies and gentlemen. Before going, please make sure that you do not pack a lot of bags. That's just a hassle, because if you're going to make so many stops, you'll have to take out each and every bag every time and then put it back as well. Number one. Number two, you really need to have sunblock over there. I mean, in normal life, everybody needs to use sunblock, because a lot of people are spending their fortune by going to these aesthetic clinics as well, but not investing any money, 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees on sunblock, which can actually save you a lot of money as well. That's number two. Number three, obviously make sure that that you actually take a lot of water bottles with you as well, and make sure that you do not litter throughout the way. Keep a plastic bag with you where you keep on putting the bottles in as well. And where you spoke about the plastic bag as well, there's a complete ban on plastic bags, towards the north as well. So they won't be entertaining you. Whatever you're getting, you'll actually have to carry it in your hand. So please just keep a bucket as well. So once you're ready, make sure that you check the engine oil. It needs to be literally new. You just need to update it, upgrade it as well, and make sure that before going you check all the wheels, tire pressure, and that your car is in fit condition, because there will be some treks, and on your way there will be a little bit of difficulty in between the Naran Kagan pass, because they're constructing a dam over there as well. But not just that, I think that the KARAKORAM highway should be the 8th wonder of the world as well, because it's 900 kilometers long, and so they say that after every 2 kilometers somebody died constructing it as well. There are more than 12 tunnels which are long enough as well, and we should always be thankful to China for giving it to us, which is why people can actually reach to Khunjrab Pass. Now the first video.
No, but the first question, is there a type of a car that must be suitable for such journeys?
I think if Alhamdulillah, we were blessed with 4x4, so we took a 4x4, but there were people who actually came up on a Mehran as well.
So that's
people
good.
Were traveling on a carry dabba. I am not sure whether it's good or not, because the kind of torque or the kind of engine power you require to go uphill with 4 or 5 people in your car, I mean, it gets difficult for cars like Mehran, which are 800cc or 660cc.
Okay.
But yes, you know, even till Khunjrab Pass, I could see a Mehran driving over there as well. So, you know, they've made their way till there. So, first things first, all you need to do is that you need to take the Islamabad-Peshawar motorway, and while you're on that motorway, after 60 or 65 kilometers, you will have to take a turn towards Hazara motorway. So, you know, here's the first video. Take a look at the Hazara motorway, and that's the first tunnel which you're going to encounter. Let's take a look.
This is obviously very stunning. And Shazad, I feel like this is new, yes. And like you were mentioning while we were watching the video, that we would see similar facilities or similar infrastructure outside of Pakistan. And now, you know, having these things over here, sort of causing a convenience for each and every single person to access these beautiful places. It's amazing.
Exactly. But you know, talking about that as well, you know, while I was driving, and that's the first thing which I was thinking, that, you know, that the road is so good that everybody kind of needs to go to north, and that's what's happening. So a lot of people are going to north, but all you need to do is that make sure that you drive safely as well, because I've seen people, just when they see that the road is perfectly well to drive, they kind of overspeed. You see, you do not need to overspeed, and while you're traveling towards hilly areas. So, you know, there was this saying all through my way as well, and it said that, you know, that the road is hilly, don't be silly. You know, so this is one thing which I
Was it written?
Yeah, it was written almost on both sides of the road as well, and, you know, it was just beautiful. Look at it. The tunnel is actually more than 2 or 3 kilometers long as well, and you're going to encounter such tunnels after every 50 or 60 or 70 kilometers.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, Hajra, just looking at this part of the video, I'll be honest, I've never been there to the tunnel myself, but of course it's stunning. Do you feel like the government sort of paying attention to this kind of infrastructure now? I mean, of course it's too late, but is it a good thing? I mean...
So let me tell you one thing, you know, when I landed in the Europe, in the first country, and when I landed on the road, it was a sort of an expressway. I like, this is just like Islamabad, you know, why are we creating so much hype about it? So I believe that we have a very good road infrastructure.
Okay.
And my father related me an anecdote. He said when he was in Afghanistan, he said that an American officer was with me and he really praised Islamabad's road. And he said there's such a beautiful long roads, and, you know.
But Hajra, that's just the federal capital now.
No,
not at all.
That's why we have this entire program
that's what
today.
I was going towards, you know, eventually.
If you go to Sawat, you will encounter such beautiful roads, you know, exactly like...
because the motorway is going to take you over there as well. Now, so now the infrastructure is getting better, but very quickly, so that, you know, we can actually kind of share every video with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, after the Hazara motorway, you know, you're actually going to take a drop off. You're going to get off the motorway, you know, somewhere around New Balakot or Balakot. And that's when a little messy road starts. You know, it's a little patch of somewhat around 20 or 25 minutes till the time you're going to go meet the road again. So it's going to be a little difficult, drive slowly as well. And then once you are there, so everybody wants to stay at Naran and Kagan. That's something everybody knows. But now, you know, this was something very depressing for me to see that, you know, Naran and Kagan is no different from Murree now. And it's just because of the fact that, imagine that people were there to kind of witness these scenic views within the valley. What people have done over there is that, you know, that there's this one road and there's this other road, which obviously is used by cars from either direction as well, and that they've constructed hotels, you know, on both sides of the road. So what are you going to see? And then people actually literally do not know how to behave in Naran and Kagan. People do not know how to actually talk to other people as well. I'm not talking about the locals. I'm talking about the tourists, and they litter quite a lot as well. So Naran and Kagan is off my list. I do not want to go over there, and it's just because of the fact that it's just because of it is beautiful. Obviously, you need to go to places other than the commercial hub of Naran and Kagan, and you will find that beauty. But other than that, you know, because the way which is going to take you to Naran and Kagan, because there's a dam under construction over there, you know, it's, I mean, you get a little sketchy, and you're like, hey, you know what, I wanted to feel relaxed a little bit rather than this as well. So we thought about staying at BATAKUNDI, which is very less populated. There are only 2 or 3 hotels around as well.
Wow.
And first things first, I think I would love to thank my father-in-law as well, Brigadier Anjum Saeed Akhtar Saab, you know, that he actually took out time and kind of got us the bookings, and I'm thankful to Pakistan Army for kind of entertaining us in a way which we couldn't even imagine about. So here's this FWO guest house or a mess, ladies and gentlemen, where we stayed at BATAKUNDI.
Okay.
Now take a look at BATAKUNDI yourself.
Wow. Well, this is interesting. So I think you sort of gave us a viable option because, of course, if we're going to see the beautiful places out there and if there are just hotels everywhere, so maybe this is a better option for you to enjoy the picturesque beauty of the area as well. So is this the road? Of course, I've never been there, but just crossing that. Is this where they're making honey just beside the road?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's true. So they're making honey, and ladies and gentlemen, BATAKUNDI is actually going to be one of those spots where you're going to feel a lot more chillier than any other place on your journey.
Really?
So, you know, somewhere around, it was 6 or 7 degrees at BATAKUNDI, and I was amazed that it wasn't this cold in Naran, it wasn't this cold in Kagan as well. But in BATAKUNDI, it's more like countryside. You know, you see, you know, there are not a lot of houses, there are not a lot of hotels. And, you know, while you're on the road, you know, so you're going to see in between that you see these glaciers melting right on the left and right side of the roads as well, where the kids actually wanted to touch the snow as well. And we kind of did that, you know, it was kind of very interesting. It was good to be out there with the family members as well. So you really need to have your, you know, kind of windproof and waterproof jackets as well, because it was literally cold. So imagine, so I was wearing actually 2 layers of t-shirts. Then there was this sweatshirt, and then there was this jacket, and then there was this blanket while I was sleeping. It was this cold over there.
Did you guys expect it to be that cold?
I never expected it on my way back, because while we were going, so we stayed there for a day, you know, because the journey is going to be too long. So it took us 10 hours literally to get to BATAKUNDI from Islamabad. So you really literally need to be prepared in terms of, you know, how the weather condition is going to be. So it was somewhere around 6 to 7 degrees at night, and in the daytime it comes down to 15 or 16 or 17 degrees.
Well, this is very interesting, and I think one thing to mention here again, we have spoken about it, is that this trip that we're discussing is a family trip. So I think for anyone who's planning to take their kids along, it is safe. But now I want to talk about the locals over there. Shazad, just a while ago, I think you did mention that the locals were the good part of it because they know how to take care of it. Hajra, how important do you think it is to integrate the locals in terms of developing the entire area? Because yesterday, when Imran Khan Saab was talking to people in Kagan, he mentioned that in order to save the forest and in order to save the beauty of it, I'm only going to engage the locals, which makes sense.
Obviously.
What do you think about it?
Definitely, it's very important. I mean, especially in terms of saving the trees, and we are seeing, you know, the results of the haphazard development and the climate change which has been going on and the rising temperatures. So it's very important, you know, that we make locals a stakeholder of the entire community, and in terms of also tree plantation there, because, you know, they are the one who are benefiting from the scenic beauty, and scenic beauty comes from the trees and the natures around there.
Exactly,
right?
and
Just
you know, not just that, I would love to add over here that I believe that this is a wonderful initiative, because it's similar like, for example, somebody coming in your house and actually telling you that, you know, okay, you need to do this
And
to
then,
actually make it look better.
You get to observe their, you know, culture, you know, what sort of food they make, you know, what sort of relation they have, and then I think then you learn about the culture a lot like that in that way, and you know, that is what happened in Switzerland too. So I think it's very important that locals should be made a part of the economy there and tourism. And one thing, you know, that Shahzad mentioned is that we do not have a very ethical tourism there, right? People littering.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
And the rugged and the raw beauty that we are going to have, it's going to vanish if we don't take care of it like that.
Exactly.
Right?
That's true. That's true.
But the good thing is that the government is working on the master plans of these cities, and they're developing, you know, proper infrastructure. For example, when people litter the countryside around there, so there should be proper mechanism, you know, to dispose of the waste. So they're working on that aspect too. So, you know, the government is thinking about it. And after a very long, I think we had a prime minister who had...
You know, things matter to him. I love it. I love it.
Alhamdulillah, and I think it is so amazing that, for example, you know, people who live in Islamabad, they're going to agree to me that on Magla Road, because that's the road I use almost every single day, twice or thrice even. So after every, at every signal stop, you're going to see left and right, that they've actually placed dustbins as well. When otherwise, whenever you were driving, you were always thinking, yeah, where to kind of throw my garbage as well. So now they have these bins where you can use them as well. And not just that, the most amazing part is that on Karakoram Highway, I don't know whether the Chinese brought it in or not, but how we actually go on to international airports and they have a different bin for plastic waste, a different bin for food, and a different bin for recycling items as well. That's what they have done on every roadside as well. So that's beautiful.
That is absolutely brilliant, but I hope we get educated about how to use that as well. No, it's important. I will be honest. I mean, if someone I know is going to use it for the first time, they need to be told how to go about it.
It's written on top of that.
Well, still, Shahzad, but it's a good thing. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, one more thing, you guys. Again, it's sort of related to the locals as well, but it is in terms of promoting the tourism of Pakistan. I remember, Shahzad, last year you went with your friends for trout fishing, right? And there was, I was just reading that Imran Khan Sahab, again, my favorite premier. Well, he wants to
preserve the trout fishing, and he's banned
and there's just going to be a season for it, which, well, makes sense, of course. Now, there are people who would not listen to the locals in such a case. How do you think one should go about that? I mean, what should be the laws or something about it?
Yeah, I think it's a bit difficult to regulate that area because,
it's open water.
Yeah, it's open water, and you can, I mean, always go there at night and whatever time. And the law enforcement agencies, obviously they are there, but in terms of surveillance, they might not be, that
Able
much.
to.
They do not have that much of resources to do that. So I think the best thing is that you make community part of the stakeholder, because locals know a lot of things, which we don't know. They know, what is the point there, from which point you can
go from.
Yeah. So they know a lot of things about it, and if they are made a part of, that entire ecosystem of the stakeholders of that, surveillance system. So I think that's the best solution that.
Which is why hats off to Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan. He's a visionary, ladies and gentlemen. And there are certain changes which I've seen, in terms of processes and how easy it is for anybody now, how accessible it is, and it's just because of the incumbent government. But very quickly, since we missed out on Iran and Kagan, because it is my personal wish not to stay over there, or my personal choice not to stay over there, but for everybody else, here's a visual of Naran Valley.
Let's check it out anyway.
On the mountains, so you really need to be careful because there are a lot of kind of blind spots. So imagine, so I'm going to tell you, this is the rule. So whenever you're driving, so if you see that that those division lines in between or on the road, what you really need to do is, so if there are gaps in between, that's where you can overtake another car. But if there's no gap in between in that line in the middle of the road, you're not supposed to overtake. So you see, you actually have gaps in between the lines in the middle of the road, right? So what you need to do is that you can overtake over here, but as soon as the curve's going to come, so for example, this is a curve, but you can see on the left hand side where the traffic is coming from. But if, God forbid, if there's a mountain in front and you cannot see, so the line's actually going to be without any gaps, so you cannot overtake, and do not make a silly mistake, because there can be another silly person coming from the other point as well.
And also you need to honk a horn, so that next person knows if he is, overtaking you.
And then the best part is that if it's at night, what people over there do is that they kind of, dip their lights as well. So, so that the other person can actually see the lights. So it's beautiful, ladies and gentlemen.
I think it was, well, thank you, Shahzad, for mentioning that, because these are some of the very, I think, minor things no one takes in account until, it happens to them. And you really have to, in that moment, think, oh, मैं overtake करूँ या नहीं करूँ? So this is your answer, okay? Do not be silly about that.
That can be very dangerous.
Well, right now we have to head to a very short break, but when we come back, we are taking you all the way to Khunjarab Pass. So there's a lot left, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was a small break, a little breather, which everybody else wanted, and there was this one thing which I was actually kind of talking about with Haja as well, because over here, you know, it was very rare for me to see that there was any traffic police out there, or if there were any, you know, kind of stop points. Where obviously there were a lot of checkpoints, but traffic police is something which I thought that should have been there, because there's a lot of landsliding as well. So everybody who's going out, they really need to be kind of in conversation with somebody from FWO, because they are the keepers of the Karakoram highway, ladies and gentlemen, and you give them a call and ask them whether if there's any landsliding, because there's a part after Chilas or somewhere in Chilas as well. While we were there, there was a bit of landsliding, and unfortunately 2 people lost their lives just because, you know, they couldn't be rescued at night as well, and you know, so you cannot see anything, you know, it gets so dark. So the SOP is that they are actually going to come in the morning and then rescue you. So always make sure that, you know, if there's any landslide, or if it's not, obviously you're free to go as well, but if there is, you really need to kind of keep some extra cash, because then you might have to stay longer, 1 or 2 days, and that's something you really need to do. So similar question.
Yeah, also adding to that question.
Yeah, sure.
Should you keep cash or card? This is something
Cash.
Okay.
You know, so the card is very rare, because you cannot even kind of use your cell phone over there. So, you know, there's this SCO different telecom service which you really need to use. You're going to get 4G over there as well. But card was very rare, you know, once or twice as well. But very quickly, Hajar, you know, in Switzerland, you know, while you're somewhere around the mountains as well, do you see a lot of traffic police or something?
So actually, they are very, you know, civilized society in that terms, and they do not, you know, violate the. I didn't hear a horn there. Honestly, I stayed there for a day or so. So and they have a very systemized and digitized system there. So if you're going to violate the road, so there's going to be a camera, and you're going to get an email and a bill at your place that you have to pay them because you violated the rules. But we are a developing country, so we do not have that much of an evolved system here. But I believe that, you know, we have achieved a lot in that end.
Exactly.
And in a small period of time, right? So I have really my hopes up for that. One request though, now that we play the videos, can we do it without music so we keep talking?
No, I think what we really need to do is, because we have a lot more videos, so we talk less and then we share more videos. So ladies and gentlemen, while on your way towards Gilgit, obviously you're going to come across Lulusar Lake, you know, one of the majestic lakes
very famous
in Pakistan. Just take a look how majestic it is. So yeah, that was Lulusar Lake, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure that while you're taking pictures, do not go too close to it as well. The locals over there say that it's very deep. I don't know whether they've measured it or not, but it's glaciers water. It's really cold. And God forbid, if you go down and if you stay there in longer, I think you're going to come without arms or hands as well, because it's that cold, and we do not want anybody to kind of get injured. People kind of take these risks. So please, once again, I'm going to tell you, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid.
Yes,
don't be
but
stupid.
lakes are dangerous anyway, because the water does not move. It can be so deep you don't even know.
Exactly.
So well, of course, just enjoy it from afar. Shahzad, was there any water sports over here?
No, there was no water sport over here at Lulusar Lake, but you know that the next visual we're going to take you to, there's another lake we're going to share. That's where there are some adventure sports or water sports as well. But the best part is over here is that this part of Pakistan is so beautiful and amazing, and the infrastructure is right on par with what we kind of expect from the other countries as well. You know, the Karakoram highway, as I've mentioned, is such a wonder, you know, and imagine that, you know, 900 or more kilometers, where after every 2 kilometers, 400 people died constructing this Karakoram highway as well. And it is for the betterment of Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, we need to actually thank China as well. But very quickly, I think we should actually move on to the Karakoram highway. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look. Beautiful. So there are bridges, there are tunnels from within the mountains as well. And this part of Karakoram highway, it actually takes you to PASSU cones, and then from PASSU cones to China border. So from PASSU cones to China border, it only takes you somewhat around 1 hour 30 or 1 hour 40 minutes as well. The altitude in Khudra Pass. We're going to talk about that, but this is beautiful. So this is PASSU Valley, where it's cones, and then there's this Amjad coffee wala, make some amazing coffee, and they give you stones, and you write names of your kids, wife, and children, and then place them over there. And whenever you're going to visit them next, he's going to share that stone with you that you came over here last. So make sure that whoever you go with to Amjad Coffee Wala, make sure that you go with the same person to the other. And this is right next to Amjad Coffee Wala. This is Hussaini Bridge. It's a suspended bridge, and there are gaps in between where you're going to step
Isn't it so
as well.
scary?
It is very scary. It is very risky. Make sure that you do not go with kids as well. And look how majestic it is. The
Just
mountains
super.
over there. That's where you actually think of the creator. Allah Mia, itna kuch haseen banaya aapne, mashallah yaar, kya baat hai.
And I feel like when you look at just these things and you're like, of course, I mean,
And they also
Subhanallah.
remind you, the nothingness of man. That we are
I
nothing.
was gonna say.
These are so huge mountains, so infinite
Exactly.
mountains.
What are your problems? Just look at the
Right.
beauty Allah is capable of. I mean, everything is so huge, mashallah. But now, Hajra and Shazad, the question for both of you. Now, we've seen the pictures and videos, and they're just stunning. Two things come to my mind for the place being so stunning. It's either the civic sense of the people, or it's either the controlled population. You can disagree with me. Do you think I'm right probably at some point?
I think Shazad need to answer that.
Yeah,
Okay,
but you
I'll answer
first.
first.
Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
I'll answer first. So it does not really have to do with population control or
Okay.
anything of that sort, because I'm not sure whether how many kids they have, per
No,
house over there as well.
way
but
less than
yeah,
some.
no, but what I'm going to say is that the civic sense over there is great. Imagine that Gilgit-Baltistan, as soon as you enter Gilgit-Baltistan, that's where 100% literacy rate starts. Everybody over there. I mean, imagine that they send their kids from Gilgit-Baltistan, Hunza, PASSU, and all of these Marhoon, or from all of these villages to kids to these universities, because I met a lot of fans, alhamdulillah, over there.
Oh,
They
that's
gave me a
nice.
lot of cherries, and I was lucky enough to kind of get that overwhelming response. So the kids were studying in University of Lahore, a lot of kids were studying abroad, and then within these valleys they have these amazing facilities and grounds, because they know that how important it is for the development of their children, and they play football, they play cricket and whatnot. So as soon as you're going to enter Gilgit-Baltistan, that's going to be a very different part of Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen. Very ethically, morally correct people. And imagine that even if you're traveling with your family, nobody stays over there. Nobody stays at all.
Wow, that is something I cannot imagine, because I cannot imagine for real. It would be a blessing if that happens. But yes, Hajra, do you agree with Shazad?
Yes, of course. They're very ethically evolved people. I do agree with that. And they have a responsibility towards their community, towards their area, and towards the nature in which, they're living and thriving there. So, and we need to, instill some sort of sense, with the population that is coming from the plains there, because, ethical, tourism is very, very important, especially in terms of preserving our,
My friend, ladies and gentlemen, over here is very much into journalism as well, and we kind of
We are a course ethical
rate her the
journalism.
kind of journalist she is as well. But at this point of time, we're going to give tourism and journalism a little break. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going for a short break. Don't go anywhere, because when you guys will come back, we have 3 more videos to share and a lot more experience.
Let's
Good
do
morning.
it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So we got a little breather over here as well, a little bit of confusion whether it was break or Atabad Lake, but it's perfectly all right, but very quickly. So, you were talking about water sports as well, but before we move on to Atabad Lake, there's a massive tragedy, how Atabad Lake came into being as well, because there was this entire mountain, ladies and gentlemen, which fell down, and, all of those 400 families were abandoned, and gradually they kind of they knew that that the mountain is going to fall down as well, so people kind of abandoned their houses as well, and then the government gave them that right, because now it's a lake. So the government has actually given them a rate list, and all of those people who were affected by the mountain kind of coming down as well and creating another lake and displacing a lot of families. So all the water sports are being administered by them.
Okay.
And the best part is that imagine that if you go to Rawal Dam over here, everybody will be kind of shouting, "Baji aa jaye, bhaijan aa jaye, ye aa jaye, wo aa jaye." So we took a ferry. We kind of went around the lake as well. And the best part was that as soon as I got out, but okay, first
We
things
can play
first,
the video
we kind
meanwhile,
of
yes.
need to share the video first, and then I'll talk about it because we have 3 more videos. Very quickly.
Hyderabad Lake, ladies and gentlemen.
It's beautiful. So it's beautiful. So
yeah.
yeah, what I was trying to say was that as soon as I got off the ferry, I was like, there are more people from my family who are going to come over to you because you were a fabulous ferry driver as well. So he said that my turn's over now.
Okay.
So you'll have to move on to the other ones. So
Oh.
that system actually blew my mind, and how caring they were towards each and every other person within their locality.
Could you see fish inside? I mean, it's
they
so
say
clear.
that there's a lot of fish in there, but I wasn't able to see. The water was really cold, but it's very scenic and it's beautiful, and you can still see the trees outside the water. So the trees are somewhat around probably 50 feet or 60 feet tall, and you can see the branches coming out. You can see the electric towers kind of coming out as well. So it's risky. Please make sure that you do not jump into it. Very quickly.
Yeah, never do that.
Yeah, let's move on to the other video.
All right, now where are we going?
Okay, let's see. Where are we going, Ji? All right, so this is one of the very majestic points over in Pakistan. A lot of people might not know. So this is the confluence point. Confluence point is where 2 or more rivers meet. But more than the confluence point, the best part is that this is where the Himalayas, the Hindu Kush, and the Karakoram meet.
Oh.
So all the 3 ranges meet over here, ladies and gentlemen, and that's the place where you actually need to kind of stop. They have made a very special monument kind of thing over there where you can take pictures. So the
So
Hindu Kush,
pretty, it's
Himalayas, and Karakoram meet.
It's unreal.
Just imagine that that we've been blessed with so many amazing points over here in Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, that everybody kind of needs to go. But yeah, in discipline.
Definitely, I think that is the most important part we need to discuss over
Yeah.
here, because it's the civic sense or the individual responsibility that we are talking about. Hajra, I don't think you've been here. What do you have to say about this?
Oh my God, this is so pretty, this is so breathtaking. And I think we have such a rugged and raw beauty inside the Pakistan that we need to explore and we need to project that. And I think there's a lot of discourse and narrative developing right now, because a lot of people are going, and thanks to the social media, a lot of pictures are coming out. I'm also planning to go there. I hope that I'm able to plan it and
Able to get the
And I've
chitti as
given,
well.
I've
walk
given
the
it
talk.
Yeah, I've given it away already, So, since I'm thankful to my father-in-law, I think you just have to be thankful to your father
dad.
after Allah Almighty as well. Kind of
On a
get the
lighter
bookings. And,
note.
just before this conference points, ladies and gentlemen, where the Hindu Kush, Karakoram, and the Himalayas meet, there's this home of NLI, so an entire brigade of Northern Light Infantry is posted in Bunji, and they have the best ever camp place over there as well. So, they have a helipad, they have a polo ground, they have a golf club over there, and
But
it
that's
has
a
got
hard area,
and it has got rich history. And not just that, I think a lot of people might not even know that after independence, Gilgit-Baltistan for 15 days was United States of Gilgit-Baltistan. When then the Pakistan Army went over there, and then the Raja, the Sikh Raja, I still do not remember the name, he actually surrendered to Pakistan Army, and that's how Gilgit-Baltistan actually became a part of Pakistan.
Of course, they chose to, stay with Pakistan. And now, I think we have just 1 or 2 videos left. Where are we going after this?
So obviously, we're going to be where we actually wanted to stay for a longer period of time, and that, ladies and gentlemen, happens to be Hunza.
Wow.
Let's take a look.
I've heard about its carrot cakes, and I've heard about the burgers.
Walnut cakes,
Yeah,
apricot cakes, carrot cakes, you pick cherry from your hands,
So
apples.
nice.
And the people over there, ladies and gentlemen, are so lovely. Imagine that you're actually going to come across restaurants where, all the entire restaurant is actually administered and kind of looked after by women only. No men allowed, even in the kitchen or to serve as well. The best part is if you're traveling with family, the women are going to come to you. They're going to, kind of pick up your children, look after them till the time you eat, and, they're just nice. So the best dishes to eat over there. So this is where we were staying. This once again is the NLI mess, one of the best messes I've actually stayed in as well. Thanks to Pakistan Army once again as well, ladies and gentlemen, because they really made my tour amazing. For every single stop where we went to, the staff was so well trained as well that that I kind of had no difficulty. Even while I had to pack my bags, they were out there to help us as well.
Right, but the best part is, Shahzad, I think it's brilliant that you made all these videos, because for people to see out there, they should be realizing by watching this that anyone can go. It's accessible to everyone, right?
Obviously.
So yeah, I mean, Pakistan is for Pakistanis,
So
and
this is where
everyone
we
who's willing
stayed
to share the
literally.
beauty.
This is where we stayed literally. So on one side you can see Rakaposhi, on the other side you can see Ladyfinger. finger, and that too even while you're lying on your bed.
Wow.
So that's how beautiful it is, imagine. And Rakaposhi, ladies and gentlemen, itself is something to see as well, and it's continuously
Shazad, tell us what self-reflection did you do when you were watching the mountain?
While I was there, obviously, you know, so this is one thing that, alhamdulillah, for now, it's been more than a year that I've been praying 5 times a day, and I always thought that, you know, that I have to be that soul where, you know, I have this connection with Allah Almighty. And I think that Allah actually took me over there to kind of witness how beautiful I am. You know, and this was a glimpse of how beautiful my creator is, and that was the time when I tweeted कि इन पहाड़ों को देखकर लगा कि कितना अजीम और हसीन है मेरा अल्लाह, you know. So that was something, and it was overwhelming, यार, you know. So you're compelled to think कि यार अगर, you know, if these places,
I got this message whenever I look at these mountains and, you know, the nature is that, you know, nature never lives for itself. You know, you see the river doesn't flow for itself. We get to benefit from the water, the animals get to benefit, other flora and fauna. The trees doesn't, you know, provide shade and get benefit from itself, right? The flowers, you know, the honeybees come and suck that. So, you know, you get this message that, you know, the community service, and this is what the nature has been telling us for a very long time.
What I was compelled to think more was that, okay, you know, if dunya can be so seen, imagine what Jannat would be. I think everybody would want to go to Jannat straight away. Be like, but that was one thing. But, you know, so the sole reason to actually go to Hunza was to enjoy. And this is something which everybody was talking about. I've seen and I've witnessed it from my own eyes. The people over there, literate, the cafes over there. So we have had chop shore over there, you know, it's a local dish, the dao soup from dry cheese, you know, it was wonderful. And yeah, so if you're going to go to the Altad Fort and have it over there, it's going to be very expensive, I'm going to tell you now, because we kind of ordered food, and then, you know, we had soup and chop shore, and there was this one more dish. And we're like, okay, when's the khana coming? You know, and they said, you know, yehi khana hai. And the bill was somewhere around 11 or 12,000 rupees.
Oh, insane.
You know, for 6 or 7 people. So please make
I've
sure.
heard otherwise. I thought it's
no. I mean, just in Altad Fort, that restaurant is expensive.
Because
otherwise,
it's a heritage site.
Otherwise, it's not expensive. But the kind of dishes they make are these. You know, chap shoro, dao. So, you know, they do not know how to make chicken kadai. If you're going from Lahore, please make sure that you stay in a mess, because the mess chef will actually know how to make a chicken kadai, because you start to miss those chicken kadai and the kind of food you have, because I was staying there for a longer period of time.
Yes, but now towards the end, ladies and gentlemen, where does all this journey take you? I think it was towards where there's the highest ATM ever, is it?
Yeah, National Bank of Pakistan's ATM is there. It's not functional, unfortunately.
Yet.
You know, I'll be very honest over here. And it's just because of the fact that you really do not have anywhere to spend that money. You know, so what will you do? You go into the ATM, you take out money, you cannot even have a cup of tea. So what's the point? So Khunjrab Pass, ladies and gentlemen, itself, while we were going to Khunjrab Pass, you know, I was lucky enough to see Mark Horse, you know, which happens to be the national animal.
I saw the video, it's insane.
So we are right over there at Khunjrab Pass, ladies and gentlemen. There were helicopters from Pakistan Army. I have another video in which you can see the helicopters as well, and I, you know, kind of make it look interesting for myself as well. I saw meerkats. I had yak burger. Yak burger, ladies and gentlemen, has no fat almost. So it's 95 to 97% zero fat, because you know, they kind of feed onto the grass, the organic grass, and then they're going uphill and downhill all single day.
Working out.
And then, you know, I was able to actually see those amazing birds which I haven't really witnessed over here in Islamabad and elsewhere as well. And when you go to Khunjrab Pass, you kind of feel amazing. And you know, you can see China. You try to, you know, with Pakistanis, so, you know, you see those red road blockers over there in front of Khunjrab Pass, because of the fact that people over there go and they wish to kind of put their feet, you know, beyond Pakistani border as well, which is why they actually had to stop Pakistan Army, had to stop everybody out there. And this is my outrage being shared as well. So yeah,
I think it's fun.
So for everybody who's been to Khunjrab Pass, please make sure that you do not start to kind of claim that you've been to China, because
you know, it's something that people are really crazy about, and they would even at Wagah border, people do that. But I think it was such a fun journey for someone like me who's never been to those places. We love to show you what Pakistan has, because of course we'd love you to go out there and experience it for yourselves. So Hajar, towards the end, is there a message you would give out to anyone who's planning to go as a tourist towards the north or anywhere in Pakistan? This is a camera, please go ahead.
Yes, so unfortunately, you know, we have been so much into the mobile and the gadgets that our mobility is very restricted. So I think once in a while you should take a break and you should go visit and interact with the nature out there, because earlier I was talking with my very wonderful host that, you know, nature gives you this message of community service, and it is very important to remind, you know, who you are, and you know, you tend to get some of the answer by interacting with nature. So, and Pakistan has a rugged and a raw and a virgin beauty, so do explore it out, and it's our country and we need to own it, because, you know, I feel that we overrate our country a lot, because when I went to Switzerland and in the Europe, I felt that this is somewhat very much like Pakistan. I don't know why, you know, we say, oh my God, Europe is this and Europe is that. We have that potential and we need to own that first of all.
Exactly. And ladies and gentlemen, these mountains we have over here are in no comparison with the Alps as well, because they're literally hills. They're not mountains as well. And mountains grow as well. This is something which everybody needs to learn.
Wow.
And number 3, which is very important, that if you're planning to go to Khunjab Pass, please make sure that you do not take kids. And it's because of the fact that it's at 15,000 somewhat feet as well, and you know, the oxygen is very low. So, you know, I think that it's going to be a little difficult for the kids, and especially people feel as if, you know, they have these headaches as well. So what you really need to do is that you need to take dry khubani and just keep it in your mouth. That's what the locals do as well. And they produce ketones, and then you won't be having that problem as well. So make sure do not take kids, because we didn't take kids further from PASSU as well, because obviously we didn't want their lips to turn blue, or God forbid any emergency. And then for people who really kind of get swirls and, you know, they want to throw up, please make sure that you keep a bag just like you have in the airplanes as well. So if you need to throw up, you do not make a mess.
Oh, just you saying throwing up makes you want to throw up. But you guys, I hope this was interesting for all of you. If you have any questions, or, you know, more than that, if you have any personal suggestions on how you manage your trip towards that, do write to us so we can share it with everyone out there as well. Write to us on our Facebook page with the name of
Well This Morning.
On Twitter.
Well This Morning without a G.
On YouTube.
Well This Morning.
Yes, and then the repeat of this one you can catch at
5 past midnight, ladies and gentlemen. Till the next time, look after yourselves, and if you're planning, make sure that you're saving for your travel.
Oh,
Good
yes.
morning.
Good morning.